I feel like we've kind of lost the ability to communicate with one another. Like we're always texting or we're on Facebook or, you know, just very short things. Like you're not going to have full blown conversations a lot of times over text. Um, you can, but I don't feel like we're really getting into a lot of things that matter when we text people. And I think we've lost the art of talking with people. And specifically for Christians, I think we've lost the art of praying with one another. All this is kind of spurred on. I went to a prayer meeting last night, and just hearing people pray and hearing their heart is one of the ways that I started saying, like, man, people are so much deeper than what we like to give them credit for. And a lot of times we forget that people have souls, and it's easy to kind of get caught up in the what am I doing? What are we doing? And we forget that everybody struggles with something. You know, there's people at your job that are miserable, and you never stop to ask yourself, am I contributing to the misery? Um, Especially in like close relationships. I mean, how many of your close relationships are you like, hey, I need to call and talk to them and just check on them. I want to have a good conversation with them. Um, because sometimes we benefit from having good conversations. You know, it could be us not really in need and our friends are struggling with something, and we just forget that they're the ones that are seeking guidance because the conversation actually helps us too. I mean, how often are we doing that? How often are we meeting with people? How often are we sitting and having serious conversations about things that we're struggling with and things that are going to make our lives better? You know, some of the best times in my life are sitting down, having a conversation with people, and just enjoying them for them. You know, think of all the bonfires that you ever been to, you know, back in your heyday. Think about all the times that you spent having coffee with somebody, all the meals you've shared with somebody. You know, have we lost the art of having good conversation? I wouldn't even say lost the art of it. Have we lost the the rush of good feelings that we get from talking to people? And I think as a whole, we have. We settle for a very individualistic life that is just full of like, I'm getting what I want and I'm cool. So why do I need to talk to anybody? Maybe you've forgotten the value you have in other people's lives. Like if you died, wouldn't you think that there would be a hole in someone's life that they would have said, I wish I had more conversations with them. I wish that I could have spent more time with them. I wish that I could hear that just one more piece of advice or one more piece of guidance or just have one more laugh with that person. We get so busy doing stuff that we often just forget that that's even a possibility. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, I'm having a conversation, a monologue, I guess, to whoever's listening. And I think sometimes if we would just stop and just slow down and think about all the people in our lives and all of the different kinds of lives that make up our friends and our family, and we stopped and said, you know, maybe I should call them. Maybe I should schedule lunch with them. Maybe I should schedule coffee with them. Maybe I should go golfing with them, just to kind of check on them and see how they are, and give them a few moments to kind of let them know that not only do they have somebody in their corner to support them or help them or bear burdens, but man, there's somebody in their life that struggles too. I mean, we're fooling ourselves if we don't think that we're not struggling in some area. I know that in the world of social media, we only see a lot of the highlights. There are a few people that are willing to be vulnerable online, but how often are we seeing the true vulnerability and just the reality of how tough life can be, even if it's just little inconveniences, even if it's just little bitty things that seemingly don't matter, but can be a perspective can be changed just by simply talking to somebody. I was having a conversation with somebody earlier that's struggling, and the more that I talked to them, the more that my struggles were coming out too. And I think it helped us both see that, especially as two Christian people, we need God to live. We need to know that He's there for us, and that even in the midst of our struggles, like, He's the creator of the good and just the bad seasons of life. Because sometimes in our He creates this wonderful life full of blessings, and we can get so wrapped up. And Scripture tells us, if the times are good, be happy. That's what Ecclesiastes 7 says, is if times are good, be happy. But when they're not, consider. And that's what it says. It says consider. Well, are we taking the time to consider anything? Or does everything have to be so fast paced that we just blow by it and just like, oh, it'll get better. It'll get better. Some of this could be alleviated by just talking with the people that love us. The amount of suicide is still high. The amount of mental struggles like anxiety and depression, they're still at an all-time high. So who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are you going to say, like, hey, bro, like, I'm struggling too. Like, you're not the only one. Let me help bear some of that burden, because I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to struggle in that way. And man, even when times are good, just sit back and enjoy a laugh, enjoy good food. I think there's been a turn with social media and just texting all the time where we think that's sufficient. But man, when you hear somebody's voice and you hear how much they care about you, it means something completely different. And being able to hear somebody say, I care for you, I hope you're doing well, or man, I'm so happy for you that things are going well, or just somebody say, like, hey, you're not in this by yourself. It could mean the world to anyone. And we've got to get away from secluding ourselves, because let's just be honest, even texting, it can be isolating a lot of times, because you text because you're in a situation where I can't talk on the phone, or I don't want to spend a lot of time, on the phone. We got to be more face to face. We have to be more face to face. Like, life is so much better when we're face to face. If it wasn't, things like golf wouldn't be as fun. Like, I can go play golf and I'll have a good time by myself, but it's so much more fun when I can share a cart with somebody and talk with somebody. And if somebody hits a good shot, I'm there to see it. If I'm there to hit a good shot, they're there to see it, and just celebrating together. Things like that. We've got to find ways to schedule time with people and not just go through the motions of, well, I've got this, and this. I mean, you've got to be intentional with how you treat your relationships, and you've got to be intentional with the people in your life that you would benefit from initiating time together. It doesn't always have to be sob stories or depression outlets or whatever. It can be anything. But your life would be so much better for getting with people, gathering with people. And as Christians especially, like, that's our call. Our call is to live in community, to do life with other people. And the less life we're doing with others, the more we're robbing ourselves of real blessings of what life is all about. Because we can look at every single thing that's going on in the world, and it's depressing. It sucks, to be honest. And we can get so wrapped up in all the things that we just lose track of the good things. We get so consumed with all this junk that some of it doesn't even pertain to us, but we get wiped up in the tides of the news or politics or whatever it is, and we lose sight of, I don't have to worry about this right now because I'm with people I care about. Like, we're going to talk about things that matter to you and matter to me. So those are the realities that we live. And so why would we waste our time just constantly scrolling through our news feeds, looking at negativity, when we can say, let me replace some of this scrolling with intentional conversation. If I have cracks in my schedule where I can say, hey, I've got 30 minutes, I wonder if somebody can just like, hey, let's just meet for coffee real quick. Or you're at your kids' practice, like soccer or whatever. Are you isolating yourself and like scrolling on the sidelines, or are you using it as a time to enjoy the people that are there, building relationships? I mean, man, the possibilities are endless, but we don't have to be stuck in a cycle that makes us feel alone all the time. We don't have to sit in a cycle where we're constantly wondering if I'm the only one struggling with something. And so that's my challenge, is just to maybe ask, who are you getting with? Like, who are you meeting with on a regular basis? I think a regular basis would be good, but at least once a month, who are you sitting down with and just saying like, man, I love you. I care about you. The fact that you're in my life is a blessing. And every time we get together, I'm so thankful that you're there. We need more of that. We need more families getting together. Me and my wife and my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, we play cards all the time, and it's a fun, simple way to just have people over to enjoy life together. And so, what are you doing? What are some of the things that you're doing to get people in your life, just to even play cards? Like, it doesn't have to be a fancy meal. It could be spaghetti on a paper plate. What are you doing to get people in your life that you love, so that life just feels more full and less isolating? And we got to do more of that. And I think the more we do that, the less all of the other stuff seems to matter in the grand scheme of things. Because when things get really rough, the people that are in your life are going to be there to comfort you. They're going to be there to help you. They're going to be there to make you laugh, even just for a second. So what are you doing to not isolate yourself and not settle for just Facebook relationships or texting? What are you doing in your life that is allowing you to be with other people that you care about and to be cared for? So I know that I struggle big time with that. And again, pray for me. The Lord knows I need it. And hopefully I can share more about times like that soon. So thanks, guys.